Rick Wenner.
What's up, Aaron? What's up, buddy?
Thanks for having me, man. I'm excited to be doing this. How long have we known each other now?
We've known each other since like '06, '07,
Yeah,
somewhere around there.
yeah. And the entire time I've known you, you've always been the established photographer. I think the first time I met you, it was the setting just like this, and you were doing
Yeah.
inside of some project. But for anybody who isn't aware of who Rick Wenner is, which maybe there's like 10 people out there, you're like
There's
obviously
a
the
lot
most
more
famous
than
person
that.
we're going to talk about today. Um, how do you, just as an introduction, like how do you explain what you do? Like how do you break down who you are, what you do, that kind of a thing?
I'm a portrait photographer. A lot of people know me for my celebrity work, and they will kind of pinpoint me down to celebrity work, but I just consider myself straight portraiture. Uh, I always joke that if you have two eyes, a nose, and a mouth, and you're in front of my camera, I'm happy. Yeah, I like to create portraits of people that tell a story, bring out moments of personality and emotion. And I'm fortunate enough to work with some really amazing people throughout my career, like celebrities that, like I said, people know me for.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's how I typically give like the short, brief answer to what do you do for a living?
And I've always meant to ask you this question. We just never got to it, but now that we're having some drinks and we're here, when you're working inside of like the actual moment, like the art of photography is a super interesting one for me. I have no exposure to it. I'm not a photographer. I wouldn't even consider myself an amateur photographer. Like I can
Yeah.
barely straighten out my phone. But when it comes to you mentioned I like to capture moments. I like to have people open up. I like to like kind of capture something there.
Yeah.
One thing that I've always meant to ask is like, what is the rigidity of what you do? Like, let's say, okay, you've been assigned a job, right? You're working with HBO, or you're working with Disney, or you're working with whoever you're working with, right?
Yeah.
These major names. You have a major subject. You're excited about this person. First part of the question is, when you know that you're going to be doing somebody, do you do like a context dive? Do you like go into their career, or is it just like that you're doing the shoot for one major purpose usually, like
Yeah.
because they're doing this promotion for this one thing, and you get into that, or do you like do a whole bunch of studies so that you can open them up a little bit when you talk to them?
It kind of varies, you know. Sometimes I do dive in deep into a long career, like for somebody like Christopher Walken. You know, he's such a legend, and he was probably the first legendary celebrity that I got to photograph. So I dove into his career and saw how he was photographed. Not so much going into his IMDb or something like that,
Right.
but seeing how he's photographed. And I will listen and read a lot of interviews that help me learn a little bit about what I can talk to him about.
Okay.
But then there's other times where I just want to dive in on set
Right.
and kind of learn on the spot and
Right.
have an actual conversation and not already know the answer in the back of my head,
Right.
but have it be a real conversation.
That's kind of like what I was wondering is like the rigidity of it is what I meant was like how much of what you do, like when you're doing that casework and you're going into the background and you're figuring out how they've been photographed in the past, is
Yeah.
it to figure out like how you would do it different so that you're bringing something different to the table, or is it to figure out like what do they usually work well with and like, oh, they're okay being just the square kind of photo inside of their face
Yeah.
kind of thing, or are they not, like they're more
Yeah.
standoffish and more lifestyle type of?
Yeah. So I like to know what's been done, but I also do that so that I'm not repeating the same thing that's
Right.
been done 100 times with whoever I'm photographing.
Okay.
But sometimes your hands are tied, and you have to kind of go with what they're comfortable with, and still find an interesting moment at the same angle. There's some people who only like to be photographed on the left side of their face, and because they think that's their best
The best
side,
side, yeah.
and uh, and that's fine if that's the way it is, and we're locked into that. Fine, I'll find something to make it my own, make it a Rick Wenner portrait.
When you're going there, right,
Yeah.
and you're setting up, you're in the environment, right? Like, how much does their mood, their openness to the process? Because like we're gonna talk about a couple of projects where like you've had very truncated amount of times with people. We're gonna talk about projects where you've had half day with the people, right? And I'm assuming, again, I haven't dealt with a lot with celebrities. You've dealt with, I don't think I've met a celebrity. I think you're the celebrity I know, right? When you walk into that room and you're sitting down with them and they're either open to the process or not, is it like, is it a wide spectrum? Like, is it just as wide as you would think like the general populace is? Because these are just people, they have names, they put on their pants, they have indigestion. Like they're just people at the end of the
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
Are some of them like really into it, and like that will change the improving that's happening inside of what you're doing?
Speaking specifically to celebrity,
Yeah, I guess all of your subjects really,
all
because
my
like they're
subjects,
all
yeah,
people, right? At the end of
yeah.
the day, so like some people, what you do is intimate,
Hmm.
and especially for like the more iconographic type of real look that you have of like the heavy portraiture, what I imagine Rick Wenner style is, it's deep and it's in somebody's face.
Hmm.
Some people are ready for that, and some people are just kind of like, I'm sure that you talk to people and they're like, hey, what can I do? Like, what are you thinking about? Like, hey, let's
Yeah,
talk about it and let's actually like build this. And some people are like, yeah, I'm here. What's up? Like, where do I sit?
yeah, yeah. So that variety of um, emotion and willingness to collaborate on set, it varies from project to project for sure. When I'm in a fast-paced portrait studio at a film festival or an award show or something like that, most of these people that are coming back here to see me for a minute or two, because that's all they typically give me, because
That fast.
they're basically at a party,
Right. Right.
They don't
They're
want
not
to
there
be
for
in a
that.
photo booth,
Right. Yeah.
but it's been a very few amount of times where somebody has come and stood in front of my camera and did not want to be there. You know what I mean? Um, and even in that moment where they're not into it, and if they're distracted and their wife is standing behind me and they got into an argument on the way to see me, which has happened,
Okay.
and I get 47 seconds with this person,
Yeah. And they're
uh,
pissed,
and they're pissed off
yeah,
that
they're just not in it.
they
Yep.
just did not want to be there, and they're angry because their wife is standing right behind me, and that's what this person's looking at.
Mm.
I still have to get the shot. I still have to get it done. So I have a way of, it's really my personality, my demeanor, and my calm vibe, I guess you'll say,
Mm.
that can get just about anybody down to my level, even for a split second, so we can get that shot. Uh, and there are times, I will say more often than not, where subjects that I'm photographing have looked at what I do, and they've seen my portfolio, they've seen my experience, and they know they're in good hands.
Yeah.
They know that I'm not out to do something weird, or I'm not doing something.
Yeah. This isn't a
what-
gotcha moment. We're trying to work on something.
Exactly, exactly. And they know that they're going to be shown in the best light that I can bring to them.
Right. When you're behind the lens, right, and you're taking the shots, whether it was inside of your mind already as like a preset thing, or whether this is more of one of those improv situations where you're trying to get them to relax in a short period of time, you're trying to make them laugh for a second, laugh and look off camera for a second so you get
Yeah.
a good shot, like that type of
Yeah.
thing. When you're behind there and you snap the photo that ends up being the one, do you have like a moment right there where you're
Where I
like, I got
realize
it? Or is it just, I have a certain amount of time here, whether it's half a day or 3 minutes or whatever it is, and I'm
Mhm.
just going to capture as much as I possibly can.
Yeah.
And then you actually find the gold when you get to editing.
Nowadays, now that I've got all this experience and I've been under these super high pressure jobs and projects and whatnot, um, yeah, I know when I've got the shot. I typically do.
You click it and you're like, that, I got it. Like, I
Yeah.
just got it. I know I just got it. The rest is all gravy. This is
I
going to be
see
an
it
amazing
in-
thing, but
I
I
see
know
it
that
in
that's going to be
frame.
one of the ones.
Yeah, I see it in frame, and the moment's happening. I see it happening. My timing's really, it's excellent, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just know, and I'm even happier when I go back to my computer and I'm editing,
And
and
you're
it's actually in focus.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Yeah. If it's all right, I got you. Artists are typically pretty self-critical people at the end of the day, right? I mean, what I do, I'm self-critical. If I listen to music that I made a long time ago, I listen to it and I'm like,
Yeah,
ew, icky.
yeah. No, you should be.
I know. But when your career has been so long, your career has been, would you go back and reshoot anything if you had the ability to do it with your eye and with your talent now that's obviously developed? Because you said like, oh, in the past I used to kind of do more spray and pray, and now I'm much more surgical and I can kind of like figure out the exact moment that I know when it's done.
Yeah.
Would you go back and do it? Or is it like tattoos, right? You're a collector of tattoos, right? not every tattoo that you get is perfect, but
Hmm.
it's still the story. So
Yeah.
like you still keep it and you still have like this reminiscence of it. Like,
Yeah.
would you go back and want to redo anything, or is that just the path that it was and like that's the way it needed to be at that exact moment?
I never thought of it as wanting to go back to a specific shoot or any project and wanting to redo it. I've always viewed every single thing that I've done throughout my career as a learning experience.
Right.
So yeah,
It's always
definitely
a step forward.
the tattoo analogy is perfect
Okay.
for it. Um, yeah, it's all building blocks to gaining more experience, building my skill set, but definitely a lot more focusing on the interaction between my subject and I. And there's probably times in my past, like early on in my career, where I would have photographed some local chef or a lawyer or something like that, and didn't approach the conversation the way that would have brought out a strong moment.
Got it.
You know what I mean? I may have focused too much on the light or this camera settings because
It's
I was still new,
right.
but now all that comes to second nature and
Right.
I'm much more able to have this type of conversation.
Right.
Every portrait setting that I do is very much like this.
Right.
We're sitting across from a table from each other usually. Usually
Mhm.
there's a table here, not a bar.
Mhm.
And you get a sense of who I am, so that lets your guard down. And I'm asking questions or I'm directing you in a certain way to bring out those moments, get those facial expressions, or have you whatever I need to happen. And yeah, so I wouldn't have been able to approach my work the way I do now if it wasn't for all the slips and falls early on in my career.
It's all learning lesson. It was all necessary for the moment. Yeah, I mean, perhaps you could have approached it a little bit better, but this is the journey that you're on. You are who
Exactly.
you are. Yeah.
Exactly.
I was wondering if photography has this moment because it's such an like a capture of a moment kind of thing. I just didn't know if it was like, "Ah, I wish I could go back to that day and I could just ask them one other question and do the thing, or if you look at it still fondly no matter what, because
Well,
now
that
we're here.
being said, at the end of every single shoot, when the subject walks away and I'm driving home if I'm driving home from Manhattan, LA, the Hamptons, wherever,
Mm,
there's always something that goes through my mind like, ah, shit, I could have done that, or I
mm,
should have done this, or did I get that shot?
mm.
Even
Was
though
it in focus? Was the one that I thought was so good going to be as
did,
good as I
did I
thought it
get
was?
what I needed to get?
And you don't know
Yeah.
until you're going to get home. You're going to pop that memory card in, you're going to unpack it, and you're going to get
Yeah,
into
I
it.
mean, yeah, there's definitely time. Like I know on set, like I feel good, and that's why I call a rap.
Right.
I feel good about it. But there's always something happens, like a little bit of self doubt on
That's
the
what I
way
mean.
home.
Artists are critical people. It's the
Yeah,
way it needs to be. That's how you sharpen the blade. Like you can't not. I just didn't know. Does regret play a part? And it doesn't sound like overall. It sounds like it's just like self-critical in order to get better at the craft. But like every shot is still the worthy shot.
yeah. It's just that hour to 2 hours drive home,
Yeah.
or flight home, or
Right.
whatever,
Yep.
and that's when it happens.
Yeah.
It's not even the flight home because I've already gone through the work by then. But yeah, there's always that moment right after the shoot where I am a little concerned, and but I think that's very common, like you're saying. I think it's very common with photographers, directors, painters,
Artist.
anyone,
Artist.
anyone. Yeah, musicians,
Yep.
everyone. Um, but yeah, so that definitely does happen.